Hey!
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, or good morning, depending on where in the world you guys are watching that balloon show.
You might notice my sly look to see, is our microphones on?
Yes, the microphones are on. Unfortunately, well, we had a little bit of a break. We had a month-long break during summer.
I had a nap.
Yes, I come back significantly more tanned than I was. I think you'll notice.
I've the same colour. I may be slightly off-white there on my arms, but other than that, I am raring to go.
Yes. Hey, we've got Denise, we've got Joette, we've got Dee, we've got me in there randomly, and Anna, and...
You're in to see yourself?
Yeah, I did. I popped over there so I could grab my phone just to make sure, because our other chat thing isn't working on this side.
I apologise, Joette, because I didn't...
It's still on holiday.
I thought I said balloon couch, but that's because I haven't got my glasses on. So thank you, balloon coach, for reminding me that I should have my glasses on.
Yes, you certainly should. What are we going to be doing on tonight's episode?
We're going to be going into the workshop.
Yes.
And we're going to be making something.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
It is.
Kind of shiny.
Yes.
And very round.
But before that...
There's this. There's not. It doesn't want to go.
Because,
no, it doesn't.
I know why. I'm going to keep on talking
while
you fix that.
You know why.
What's happened is, and you can tell it's live, is the fact that in the new studio, we've just had a static IP assigned, and all of the buttons that are assigned on there on our little stream
there's a lot.
Needs to have that IP address updated, and Dom is just about to change a 1.5 to a 5.
But before that,
that's what's happening.
There's this. To normal.
We're back to normal. Yes, chaos ensues, back to normality. Hello, Shelley. Hello, Tracy. Nice for you guys to join us too. Thank you very much for your continued support and viewers. We are.
Sorry, I don't want to be that close because snowman.
Come on, Casper. Yes. Right, so we switch them off and it makes it look like we're more tanned as well.
Oh, let's do it.
We are going to dive into the workshop where we're going to be doing one of our signature kind of hoop designs, the organic, cheaty organic hoop.
Go on, you go through.
Yeah, I'm going to go through that. I'm going to take this,
please,
and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to walk this way. All right.
You do that. I shall bask in the light that makes me sort of ghostly. Yes, so let me have a look on the camera to see where he's at. Oh, I can see him over there. Keith, there is a foot pedal on the floor.
You know, there might be a pedal on the floor for a...
That's what I like about having your microphone live. That was very good.
Yes.
Right, he's over there.
I am. I'm over here.
Get ready to wave.
Oh, it's a bit echoey today.
Coming over to you.
Hello.
There he is.
Hello, folks. Again, thanks for joining us here in the studio. There's graphics coming soon as well. We're going to have not just white everywhere, but we're going to have some graphics.
You make me do that steppy over thing again.
Yeah, you've got to do a steppy over.
You know about steppy over things?
Okay.
They're the introduction to failures.
Well, to be fair, I did an introduction to failure on our twin air sizer. I stood on the pedal.
No,
on the
incorrect.
Way past.
Twin air sizer 2. So when you press that pedal, it did it with 30% more power.
With 25% quieter.
That's right. Who knew?
So, on tonight's, if you have any questions or want us to show you anything, please just chuck it in the chat and we'll do our best to answer any and all questions.
We will.
So, on tonight's show...
Ideally focused on balloons and machinery.
Yes.
But if there's anything, life-wise, we'll give it a pop as well.
We'll give that as well, some general life advice. We're going to be using our frame that was gifted to us by the wonderful Balloon Market.
Thank you, Balloon Market.
Really appreciate it. And we're going to be using Prima latex balloons.
We have, yes.
So what we're using is we're using ivory and we're also using sandy beach. So we're just using 2 colours of latex.
So these are the 18-inch size ones, and they stand up beautifully as well. So for the people who haven't had this product yet, it is a paper packet, so it is very environmentally friendly, but it does come flat like so. So great for storing and putting in a box, and it's very good to organise. However, if you are like ourselves, when you're preparing for any work or any jobs, a little bit of knolling.
I thought you were saying we're going to have a nap.
Yeah, I do that as well. Yes, you can stand them up as well. So we found this at recently at the Summer Splash.
Yes.
It was great to be able to put the product out to know what balloons we had for different areas, and the wonderful Evie working hard there with her teams was able to lay the product out like this, and it's great to go, well, that product is for this job, that's for that design, so that is superb.
So so we're going to be using Sandy Beach, and we're going to be using Ivory. We already have all the balloons inflated that we need for this particular design, but what we're going to do is just go through the process, how we would set it up with this machine. Now, this machine counts as you go. If you haven't seen the machine before, it's the Rolls Royce of balloon inflators in the industry. It's the Twin Air Sizer 2 by Premium Common, and it is an absolute beast, and it's super powerful, keeps on going.
Comes with a pedal.
Comes with a pedal, like
Two,
you put on the floor.
But anyway.
Yes, and we've got this set to 3 seconds, so it works as I press the pedal once, it will count up once, and it will inflate for 3 seconds and automatically stop. Now, we know that, I'm just going to take a couple of
Can I just add to that as well? Because I noticed a couple of people, when they were using this machine at the Summer Splash, for instance, which I do love those kind of opportunities, is they press the pedal and almost worry they have to take the foot straight off it.
Yes.
You can press your foot on that pedal and actually leave it in position, and it'll still only run for the 3 seconds. By taking your foot off and back on again is what's going to restart that sequence.
After it's finished.
After it's finished, that's right. So you have to kind of take your foot off to re-engage it.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you don't do it straight away, or you just put your foot on it like I end up doing, because they kind of press it and lean into it and then do it and then kind of step away. So so don't panic on that one. It's been done in that way that is efficient for people to use.
Yes. So I've got a Sandy Beach and I have an Ivory. I'm going to put them onto there, and I'm going to pull them down a little bit and press the foot pedal once. Inflates for 3 seconds, and then what we do is push them against ourselves to round them slightly, and then we go once, twice round, and a single knot on the top to get our first cluster of 2 or duplet.
You pulled them down there as well, because this is an 11-inch balloon, but we've undersized it.
It's 9 inches.
Yeah, so it's quite undersized, and you want that round shape. So by pulling it down, it allows that air to fill out the top part of the balloon, giving us the rounder shape and the fuller colour.
And then I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm pulling it down, pressing it once. Hello, Tricia. Nice for you to join us. Again, 2 exactly the same size. Push once to slightly round them. Once, twice, and tie it off. And turn that into a cluster of 4 balloons.
So we're just going to push them through the middle and just do a twist round to lock that in position.
Yes.
Now, when we did this, we inflated, you put out 2 piles of the latex.
I did.
And you put in a bigger pile of the Ivory versus the Sandy Beach, because it's a little bit of a stronger colour, just to create that little bit of a balance between the two of them.
Yeah, I didn't want the Sandy Beach to overpower it. I wanted it to be mainly Ivory with some Sandy Beach, rather than lots of Sandy Beach with some Ivory, because the darker the colour, the more weight the balloon has, the more visual weight.
And ironically, on this one, we managed to do 3 Sandy Beach, 1 Ivory. However, by dropping the pile in, and then randomly we pick up, and so it could be 2 of one, 1 of the other, whichever, but we don't cluster them at the same time. You end up with a pile of all of your 2 balloon clusters.
Yes.
Then when they're all done, then you cluster them into the 4s, because then again it's adding to that random effect, because you are kind of picking them and they've moved around a little bit. So by doing that, it then truly creates a bit of a random mixture. And you do end up with sometimes a 3 and a 1. And even though we're trying to not do it too heavy with that, but by the time you finish the rest of the design.
And for this one, to make it even a little bit more random than all of that, what we did is we added in another randomizer by getting Dom's son Logan to pass the balloons. So he passed them in any order that he wanted to. So that's he doesn't do balloons, so that's it becomes random. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this down to 1.4 on the timer. And I'm going to inflate the 11-inch balloons to 7 inches, so 2 Ivory at first. 7 inches, rounded once, twice, and tie. I'm going to keep this one.
Okay, you're going for it. Nice.
And then I'm going to add in a sandy beach, and I'm going to do that one singly. Again, 7 inches, and I'm going to tie that once, twice round, and tie that into the cluster with a double knot because it's just tied to itself. So we get clusters of 4 size to 9 inches, and we get clusters of 3 size to 7 inches.
When we're working as a pair on this machine for this kind of job, we'll do the 2s, because you can do a 2, tie it and leave it. For these ones, I would do a 2, Keith would do a 2, and then we take 1 balloon each, and we do one side a piece, press it, so it's cycling once but doing the 2 balloons.
Yes.
And it just means we're not waiting for each other, and you can find a reasonable rhythm that way to maximise your time for
super efficient for it. It's a really good machine for doing that. Also, as well as that, if something happens, like you press it and the balloon goes shooting off or something.
You press the pedal by accident.
Or you press the pedal. What I can do is on here, I can actually press the count, which takes the count down by 1, or if a balloon should fail or whatever. But it does allow us to completely change that count, and then, or if it's like, oh, I need to add an extra 1 on for whatever reason, I can press the pedal and it adds the count back on.
I know for a fact, if I start off and count it myself, I'll count the balloons on the floor a dozen times. I'll recount them because then you kind of start talking.
Was it a dozen times or was it 30?
Well, exactly. So the fact that we know that we need 21, and we know we need to do, for this one, it's a 2 and a 2, so that's double 21, 42. We have to get 42 on this counter, then you know you've done that size. Same for this one. The only difference is if you're doing a single cycle because you're working on your own, or you're doing dual cycle because you're actually doing, you would work it out accordingly.
Still 42 presses of the there.
So it gives you what you
Jeanette,
need.
by the way.
Hi,
Jeanette. Right, okay, so what we would do is, like Dom said, we would do 21 sets of 3, size to 7 inches, and
21 of these,
21,
size to 9.
Yeah, size to 9 inches. And then what we do is we put them together on a piece of Dacron line, which I'm going to get this out of the way. And
I'll move that one.
Move that over here. And so I'll show you what we do on the Dacron in a bit, because the other thing that we had to do was inflate some 5-inch balloons.
Yes.
Which we've done already. We've done a set of 3 5-inch balloons sized to 4 inches. And they're also connected with a piece of 260, a scrap of 260, to a cluster size to 3.5
inches. So this is the same method that we did at the second time with the 11 inches, where it's the 3. So it's a 2 balloon cluster, then adding that 1 in. And as you saw Keith do as well, he took that inflated balloon and pulled it in tight into the duplet, and then wrapped it around before he tied it.
And then we need 21 clusters of these as well.
Yes. So neck to neck, even though the Prima latex is a longer neck, it's still, for the purposes of this particular design, you need that additional distance of latex, because you'll see when we come to it, the placement of those is very fluid and organic, and this allows you to do it without committing to it as well. So it's a great system.
Absolutely. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do some more inflation, and that is going to be done with the Premium Foil Pro.
This is a great design, the fact that you can do all of the inflation and take it on site. You don't have to, you don't have to do the inflation on site. Very different foot pedal, this one. This is not an electronic foot pedal. This is like an air, like a baffle almost, isn't it?
Yeah, like a
bellow. Yeah, that'd be the better word. Yeah. So it has a tube on this, so it takes the air and that compresses and pushes a micro switch in the side there as well. Yeah. So just a different way. But it does mean, though, because it sort of moves around, because it's not a heavier switch pedal like the other machines, even if it goes upside down.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The other end that we have onto this, because we have a long hose connection, we have the specialist one. It says for foil inflation. So this has a special set of valves on the inside, a special set of fluting on the inside, which allows us to down pressure this inflator. Specifically for inflating foil balloons.
Yeah, and then more importantly, once it gets to pressure, it allows that the fullness of the pressure then to push back out from that valve. If this was a sealed valve, this machine would be overpowered, inflate that particular foil to capacity and then beyond.
Yes.
And this allows it, when it gets to that pressure, then goes right and rejects the rest of that air. So it is important to not put your hand around that.
That's right.
Because that's going to stop that doing what it's supposed to do.
So what I've got is I've got a series, this is a Starburst. This is how the Prima Starbursts come. They come into a packet like this in 2 different sizes, which is 26 inches and 40 inches. The ones that we're actually going to be using on the design are going to be the Primadescent Starburst. Ooh. But to show you, because it's brighter and easier to see, what we're going to do with it, we're just going to show you with this, the electric purple. So I'm going to do, we need 6 for this one. They come in a pack of 12, so the full 12 would be a normal Starburst, but we only need 6 of them for this. So we're going to take off
because the Starburst itself makes it round, like a full 360 design, but as we're adding it into one of the sides of this particular hoop design, it's essentially cutting that Starburst in half. So it means we're going to use half of the Starburst, but it means we can use the whole packet and use it for 2 halves that we want.
That's exactly right. So we have the valve, and we have our the correct tip for this, and we have our foot pedal, which Dom's going to use. I'm going to put that into the valve into there, face it down, and
so I'm going to go.
And it won't overinflate, because now this is at the correct pressure. All of that air is actually coming back down this area. So it means that it just inflates to the correct pressure and it's right. So if you have problems where you overinflate your foils and they sometimes burst and things, this is going to remedy that for you. So we need 6 of them. So there's 2. Go.
I had one job.
Yeah, I had one job, exactly. Number 4. Sometimes the valve is stuck in there because it's been caught under a fold, especially on the 40-inch design. So what you're going to do is, as it's starting to inflate, just go along the end of the valve like this with your fingers. It'll open it up.
That's why the hose is really good, because you can orientate yourself in a good position.
So I go down and it opens. And last one, go there, across, and it's done. Okay, that's how Foil Pro's done its work.
So now all we're going to do is take the tying tab, and then we can tie these together.
Yeah.
We don't want to tie them super tight. The reason being is these are going to be pulled into a design, so they need space to be able to move a bit. So you want to have that a little bit slack. Now, don't do it crazy slack, because you're going to have a very loose cluster, and then you have to spend a bit of time trying to tighten that up again. However, it's probably better to be slightly loose.
You're looking for the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, just right.
Just right. Then move this Foil Pro out of the way.
Much like you cluster any of the latex, so we're going to take our 2, bring that across, a little twist to kind of lock them into place, and then bring that last one in, and then bring it across the middle. Doesn't really matter where it goes, as long as you've taken it around a couple of balloons so it doesn't fall out on you. So then that's going to give us our half a Starburst that we can then bring into the design. And what we would do is we'd add on a piece of 260, so just a scrap of that again, and then that's going to tie into the middle of this, and then that gives us our connection point that we can use to pull into the design.
And when you actually add it into the design, what you're looking for is you're looking for 3 of these fronds, so to speak, or spikes, to be at the back, and 3 of them at the front.
So interlocks, like 2 layers.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's hard to do when it's not on the design, but if I pull it into there we go. So we have this 3 and then these 3.
And they fit lovely. And then when that pulls into the latex, that's going to help frame it at the back and keep it pushed out. Now, there's 2 ways that we connect this with the 260, right? We could tie like a half a 260 on onto this and just pull that in, wrap it around and tie it on, or we could indeed add a 5-inch onto the end of that as well.
Yes,
so it gives you kind of
wrong with that.
To save you having to do tying onto the design, to save you having to kind of either get ladders and all that kind of stuff, the less tying you're doing on the main design, if you've got something that can just kind of drop in, that's great.
So with this one, we can do, it doesn't even have to be sized, it can be small so that it fits, it hides inside of the design.
It is actually better to be smaller because it plugs into the smallest of holes then.
Yeah, so just the smallest bubble, tie that off, and then we'll take a scrap of 260, which I'll just take 1 1/2 over here.
We would probably always go with the lighter, the softer colour in this situation, you know, the back colour.
Yes.
Because the provenance of this object is this. Oops, see, I should have twisted that in. Keep untwisted my twist. Is we wouldn't be picking the darker colour. So let's say, for instance, you've got a design with a stronger, bolder colour. We'd probably avoid using those for these little addition bits because you want them to disappear into kind of the background. It's not a design piece. It's just going to kind of fit into the spaces. So going for the ivory in this case is great because that's just going to be absolutely invisible.
So now this, as you pull it into the design, it goes in and it just hides into the back of the design, and you can position this where you want it to be.
Beautiful, that.
We'll get rid of that.
We like them.
I like that.
We do.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to need some of these.
Yes.
And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to move this table out of the way so that we can start working.
Let's do that.
On this. So I'm going to put them back inside of there.
We have to move it over these.
Yes, I never thought about that.
Yeah, we'll go this way first.
Which way are we going?
Towards the hoop.
And then we're going to you. Or to me.
Yeah, to you.
There's no space over here.
There's no space or more space.
There's more space.
Let's go this way.
We'll go that way and we'll turn.
We've got this, people. It's all right. You just sit there and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, you just sit there and judge. It's fine.
We'll do the work, so you don't have to.
All these balloons underneath here. Right, okay, so we're going to have to lift it higher than I would like, but...
Okay.
Go that way. And then we'll pivot. Pivot.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful. Should we go on the wider camera so people can see better?
That sounds like a good idea.
Do that while I'm over here.
Yes. Do that. I still have you here on chat if you have any questions. Just going to put you out of the way for the moment.
There we go. We can see everything now.
Perfect.
It's beautiful, that. But there's a table in my way. Oh, no.
Is there? You'll have to go around it.
I wasn't ready for that. Actually, while we're getting that ready, let me move that. And I shall get these.
Okay. So, we have our 5-inch, which we've got 21 sets of those. I'm going to move them to one side. And what we also have is a really long garland. Now, the garland is 21 sets of the 4s and 21 sets of the 3s alternated through. Get the hair there.
It looks organic, Keith.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
It does.
So, it's this, what we call our cheat organic or fake organic, in the fact that it kind of has this organic feel to it, this kind of organic look to it. However, it's just 2 different sizes of balloons that have been, and 4s and 3s mixed together.
So that's our 4, that's here. However, this 4 is not sitting like a classic 4 because it's falling into the spaces generated by this layer of 3.
Exactly.
And that's what gives us that random effect. Also, when they're attached, they're not being pushed in like a classic garland where you're layering and make sure it's very structured. It can go on a little bit lazy.
Yes.
And allow it to kind of move around and find its own position.
Yeah.
And also, don't worry about it at this stage because the Dacron is just there to facilitate holding this together to make it easier to get onto the hoop.
It's really ideal as well, is that because if you're packing vans full, if you have this into some sort of large packing bag or something, while it's like this as a snake, it's much easier to fit inside the bag. It's also much easier to go through doorways and things like that when you go on site.
Yes.
So if you start off like this, we find it works much better if you do inflate off-site.
Yes.
So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a neck from one end of the garland and I'm going to take a neck from the opposite end of the garland. And then I'm going to tie those 2 together. Again, these do not need to be tight. You're not doing this as tight as you possibly can. All I'm doing is I'm tying it so that they are connected. So it makes it easier.
It's going to space the ring out to make it even for when it goes on the hoop.
Yeah, and there's our hoop or a large ring of balloons.
Yeah. So this here as well, this hoop's quite high, right?
Yes,
So
2.5 meters, 2.25 I think.
and this is great as well in the fact it's got the risers on as well, because some designs for these hoops go directly to the floor plate, which this one can as well. You can take the risers out. They're just a clip-in system, but it does mean the hoop will be almost touching the base, so you don't have the space, and then you get this kind of dent in the bottom of the hoop.
Yes.
But you could actually, for what you're about to do, is lie this flat.
Yes.
And then put it on.
Then push it that way,
Although
yes.
we would bring it forwards and lie it backwards because we're going to put it onto the front, and it kind of you want any potential gaps on this design, because this balloon's going to go on over here. You might have a potential of a gap at the back.
Yeah, this is not a design that's going to be. It's not viewable from all the way around. It's designed to be a background or as a photo opportunity or something, rather than something that's going to stand in the middle of the room.
It's not to say that it couldn't be. No. It could be resolved in the fact that we'd have to fill in the odd little bit, but essentially this design and where it works its best is for the situations where it's facing in a direction and it either is to frame something or photo opportunity, and that's why it's perfect.
Hola, Puerto Rico.
Hey.
Okay, so we're going to start off in here. This is where we've tied the two together, so I'm going to start there as a connection.
We're going to do it in the upright because it's easy for you guys to see.
Yeah.
But as we say, make it work for you. You know, if you need to bring this, lie it flat. A good way of doing it is actually putting it between, sort of, bring it down, drop it onto a chair, so it's at a good, comfortable height to work out. Which you want
so
this
I'm
way?
just going to flop it up onto there, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to push this in. So all I've done is I've taken two of the balloons and I've pushed the pole between the two, then pushed them between the three. Now this is the only one that I like to tie in. I get it, two of the necks on the first three that I push in, and I just tie it around the pole. It just means that as I go all the way around the pole, as we continue on all the way around the hoop, sorry, not the pole, this is never going to fall off, okay? So it means when it's a good starting point, I'm going to add it onto there. It's not going to fight me and keep on coming off as you'll have done it. You start at one point like this and you get down here and this bit flops off or something.
And you're fighting yourself.
You can't do it because we've tied that one on, but we don't need to tie every single one on. It's not necessary. So
and more importantly is if you do have someone help. So I'm holding this in place just so it's not falling away so you can't see it. But don't be tempted if you are helping to help. Because if I start now and go, I'll start placing this on, what you're going to have is it either too tight, wrong position. It needs to go in from one point and be worked around from that starting position. Either way, it doesn't matter, but it's...
The other thing with this particular one is because we're not tying it on and we're just pushing it on, it means if we need to slide it backwards and forwards a little bit to get it correct onto the frame itself, it's much easier because it's not tied. It's only tied in one place. So what I'm going to do is pull the whole thing forward a little touch, because I ain't the tallest person in the world. And...
Did you see what I did there? I was just justifying...
What size is the hoop? It's 2.25 metres.
I was just justifying me doing nothing there.
Yeah, I'm going to stand there. You hand that in your other hand if you can.
Yes. Oh, I'm doing something now.
You can do that, yeah.
Again, glasses key.
And then I'm going to go up onto here. And I'm going to start just easing it towards me. So it's easier to pull it towards me than it is to push it away from me. Hey, I'm up here.
It is though, because you can get a hold of two balloons and just use the hoop is between you and the balloons.
That's right.
So you're just pulling it in, you're not struggling. When you are in front of it and pushing it on, there's a bit of a balancing act. So trying to push it on and keep a hold of the frame as well. So definitely easier to do it this way.
Yeah. I'm going to move this a little bit further that way.
I would have thought you would have done the hop ladder method.
I ain't doing the hop ladder on camera.
He's so mean, people. How are we going to get good bloopers if you're not going to participate?
Well,
you just
we've already
can't
got bloopers of me falling off a ladder. Thank you very much.
You just can't. You can't get the presenters anymore, people.
Yeah.
Also,
Health
you
and safety.
chose to go from that side and go up and over,
yes,
which is, in my opinion, the best way of doing it, because then the harder bit, not that it's particularly hard, is done at a more comfortable height.
More faffy bit,
yeah.
More faffy bit down here where we kind of finessing.
Yeah.
Down here, it means I'm working on a level that's comfortable. Whereas this, I'm just chucking it on.
You choose in the chat, people, finesse or faff?
Finesse, faff, finesse, whichever. Whoop.
Oh, we almost got a blooper. That'll be a happy Wednesday. Not for you.
Not for me.
But for me.
For everybody out there in TV land.
Exactly. They're all saying in the chat here, don't fall off the ladders, Keith.
Is that what they're saying?
Wink, wink.
Right. You come round to this side.
I'm on it.
Fall from to the side.
I'm on it.
You did such a good job.
I know.
And all I'm doing is continuing on. I'm not fighting it. I'm just pushing the pole against it while pulling the balloons back against the other way.
You're styling it out now, definitely.
We've noticed in the studio that after a certain time in the day, we switch off the air conditioning to the building, which gets a bit warm.
It's because we work hard in the UK.
Is that what it is?
And outside normal hours for our international viewers.
One onto there, one onto there. Again, this is where we're finessing, so this is why we choose to do the finessing part on the floor, which is easier to work at height that's more comfortable, rather than...
Because you have got the additional riser there that you need to accommodate. It doesn't take much, but it is something that is a consideration.
Almost there.
So if you do have a hoop, but your hoop is a different size, you'll have to play around with either the quantity that you put around or the sizes that you do them to.
Yeah.
But just bear in mind that you would need to take away the sort of one of each size. So if you're going to drop the layers down, you need to remove one of the larger one and one of the smaller ones. So like Keith says, an odd number there as well. So that's one way to do it. And the other way is you can remove the sizing. So the size we are at 9s and 7s. So you can change that down to perhaps, 8.5s and 6.5s, or play around with those. What's great with something like the Premium Twin air sizer is that you can incrementally change those. So we did ours, was it 3 and 1.4. So you could bring that down to maybe 2.8 and 1.3. You can play around very, very granularly on that. Are we winning?
Yeah, just the last one here. I'm just getting it in.
So this is the one which is the most finessey bit. At the last bit, because it's one loop already, it has that little bundle up until it's pushed onto the pole. But that's why it's best to do that at a level that is easy for you to work at. So that's why Keith started here, knowing that when he's got all the way around, the one that needs the most finessing is at a height that's very comfortable.
Okay, so we can see the pole in areas, I mean, especially over on the right-hand side, you can see the pole through it. But this is just the first layer of balloons that have gone on. It's our first garland.
But this is where we have to learn to not over-finesse, right? Because sort of the old us will be like, okay, I must fix that, I must fix that. And you go through it and you try to get this perfect. But there's more layers to go on yet. We've got our 5-inch, we've got our clusters to go in, and they're going to plug a lot of gaps anyway. So that's what's going to go on next, and that's what's going to fix the majority of the gaps we have.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand with this at this point, and then Dom is going to take a cluster of these, and every point that there is a cluster of 4, so the larger balloons, that's where he's going to add in one of these sets.
So that's my reference, so that's where I'm aiming for, but it doesn't have to be very specifically land on this, right? We can go into this point and it could wrap around to lock it in, but perhaps on this one I'm going to let it sit in front and this one's going to sit on the back, and it could go up or down. Don't overly worry about it. Work your way around, you're going to fill the gaps, and then we're going to stand back and look.
Yeah, so what it is you've got to do is just chuck one on,
so
like chuck the cluster on every set of 4. The exact placement will happen afterwards. It's just getting them on there.
Because you're going to spend so much time doing it to then go, well, actually, I didn't need to do that. need the ladder to reach that one. So I'm going to go this way.
You're going to go that way? I'm just going to add some on there as you go on.
Thank you.
It makes it easier to work ahead.
And again, try and avoid selecting specific ones. Just let the laws of randomness guide you. Let the spirits guide you. Thank you.
You need some elevator music in this one.
Yes. I'm at my tippy toe.
Ah, so there's a ladder behind you. Or is that a step too far?
Boom-ch.
Well, there you go.
I don't think these are my real ladders. I'll take two.
Oh,
Go on.
check you
Listen,
out.
if I'm going to do a trip, Keith, I'm going to make it worth it.
Take two.
Right.
So,
I'm reconsidering the request for your bloopers right now
see.
because
That's what happens. This is what we call karma.
I went bald on the blooper situation.
Oh. There's another. And there's another.
Thank you.
There's one there.
Baby. And then, how many more have I got?
One more, and it's here.
Okay.
No, like as in, I think you've got one over there and one over here. Let's have a look.
I didn't follow myself round systematically. I think,
I don't think
that one's
so.
that one, that one.
Is it this one? No, you've got that
That
one.
one there, that one there, that one there.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
sure the people in the chat will be shouting out.
Hey,
right now.
Dom, you missed that
There's
one.
definitely one here,
Yep.
and I don't know. One
The
at
key
top.
thing is, though, Keith, because...
Did we actually do 21?
Well, there's that, but also the key thing is, because it comes across as random, it's actually harder to spot the pattern once you've
Yes.
done so
that's-
far, which is
Yes.
all very good.
We did that on purpose. All specifically planned in that way.
There we go.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back again behind the camera because it's always a good place to have a break. To look at what's going on, and you can see that on this right-hand side here, that one needs to come and then probably down a touch actually, or bring the other side of it round.
Which one? So yes, so we've got its counterpart round the back.
Yes, if you bring that round and down, that's the one that's right up there, I think.
That's going to sit there. That's where it wants to.
Cut down there. We have a gap here. We have a gap here.
So this is where the 260s play such a crucial part.
Also, as well as that, we're doing this, and then we're about to cover it again. But
Yes.
we still want to.
But essentially, this could be it for the design.
Yeah.
It could absolutely be at this position. So we're
Yes.
just, again, looking for... Sometimes you see the odd neck in there, so make sure you just tuck that in if that is a facing one.
Bring that down there. There's one up here. Ah, here's the extra one.
Ah, okay, you found it. You got it?
Yeah.
Super. I'm going to go have a look.
That's better. Okay, if we can go around and try to have a look to see. Spend some time just making
Yeah,
sure that we
there's
can't
like
see
a little bit of hoop
frames.
over
A little
there,
bit of hoop and
but
things.
again, we're adding another layer so we don't need to overly worry about it. If this was the end of the design and that's where we're leaving it,
Yeah.
then yes, we would absolutely make sure we finesse those
Okay.
gaps and spaces. However,
But we're already over time and we want to
we've
continue. So
got another layer to go. You had some 260s.
I have them in my pocket.
Wow, well done you.
And for ease, what we're going to do is just going to use a full 260, I
Okay,
think.
yep.
So if you have some of them.
If you're going to do it with the 5-inch on the end,
Yes.
you could do a half with the
Yeah, easily.
with that on. But
So what we're going to do is we're going to do, first of all, we're going to be adding 8 in total of these Starbursts, so these Starbursts.
are we going with the larger or the smaller
Small.
first? Right,
Small
so I'm going to
first.
bring both on just so you can show the comparison.
Okay.
So this is the 26 and this is the 40-inch.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 sizes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the small one.
I'm just going to quickly show that one. So that's the half, and then the 2 halves together, then that gives you your full Starburst.
Yes, and you could put these in as full if you wanted to. However, what we're going to try and do is, because it is only going to be forward facing, we can get away with just using, so for every 1 Starburst we use, we actually create 2
Accent
minis,
pieces.
mini Starburst points. So what we're going to do is, because we've got 8 in total, what we can do is we divide it into quarters. So the easiest one to do is for the small to go perfectly horizontal. So at the center point over here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it into here, and then I'm going to just wrap it around one of the balloons at the back. Oop. It's lying down for me. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to make sure that it has 3 at the back and 3 at the front. So that we have this. And then directly opposite that, we're going to add another one in here. Pull that in and wrap that in so that it's into the design. And again, we want 3 sitting at the back and 3 pointing up.
I think someone's talking about us in the chat there as well.
Put this in.
Gorgeous.
Thanks, I know. Okay, Dom, can you get the ladders in the back for this last mini, please? Because what we've done is we've gone the horizontal and then we're going to go perfectly vertical. So if I give you that, I'm going to add that in.
And again, because in the 260, you've got a lot of scope to tie it in and not worry about it being perfect.
Because you can always move it around, right? Because it's on the stretchy, you can move it around wherever you want.
That's why we
to.
love them.
And then straight down the middle, it went straight down the middle. So straight down from there. Again, I'm just wrapping it into the balloons on the back and position it where we want it to sit. Then with our larger ones, we've got 4 more positions. So we're going to do 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, and it's dead evenly spaced across it. The great thing with Primadescent is that the iridescent colour itself is rather strong. Yeah, it's got a good effect. It picks up colours from everything that's around it, so depending on what colours other balloons you use around it, depends on what kind of colours are reflected in the Primadescent itself, and also what lights you're using on it. So try it in different environments. You'll get all sorts of blues and reds and all kinds. So that's coming in here, in between those 2. Again, wrapping it in. It's in there. Thank you very much, sir. And then the next one up here. And then the last one. You place in position, yeah?
Yeah. Again, you don't need to overly worry because the positioning can be done quite easily after the fact.
So,
Yes.
ideally we want 3 at the back.
I'm just going to have a little
The
look.
other 3 pointing like this, because it kind of gets its best effect that way. This one's not sitting that way, so we're going to change it so that it goes 3 at the back, and then sitting 1, 2.
The main one for me is the one to your right there because that one's coming out straight on. So
This
it
one
doesn't
here.
quite have the...
Okay, so that's cool. So actually this one is because it's trying to sit on one of the areas that's here, it's wanting to push it off to one side, so it's automatically turn it that way. So what we'll do is we'll use one of our clusters here to prop it up. So that just goes into there, And then...
Now, in the flesh, that wouldn't have been such an issue because you can see it. You've got that, you know, three-dimensional approach to it. However, because we're looking at it very 2D on the screen, and I'm looking at it in that aspect, I could see it looked a bit odd because it wasn't balanced because it was all pointing one way. So that there fixes that beautifully.
Yes.
I am rather liking that.
Yes, I love the Primadescent Starburst. I love Starbursts in general.
Yep.
I think they're great. I think they add a lot of energy to it, like a little bit of...
I think this way, though, as
firework.
well, that is now only using 2 of the 40-inch, 2 of the 26-inch. That's a lot of bang for your buck on a design like this.
Yes, it's... yeah, it is. And the thing is, it's not going to be there for everybody because some people want to go absolutely full organic and things, but we know that, especially in our area, we have a lot of people whose budget for their own parties won't stretch for the full organic. That takes for a long time to do.
Yeah.
So this is a great way of getting by this. They're still going to have that Instagrammable moment.
It's also the depth on this as well, because we're only using a half a Starburst. The depth that this comes out is not as wide as using a full Starburst. Now, absolutely, you could extend this. You could create full Starburst and create a bit of a floor fill and work this out as well, and really make it a focal point.
Yeah.
You've got so many options. What we want to show you is the way of using half the Starburst.
Yes.
Works just as well. You know, you could do it with just over half. You could do it with 8, and it would, you know, add a couple more of the Starbursts to that,
yeah,
and it would fill it out a bit more.
To.
However, then you're going into odd packets where you want to kind of show a design that was very economical and big bang for your buck.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Go fill your boots, we would say. You could add or take away as much as you like. Doing the 2 sizes, I love though. Yeah. It really adds that depth to this design.
It's also, as well as that, using like the easiness of going straight along there to add your first ones, straight up there to add them, and then just go in between to add them.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so quick. The whole thing, it has that organic feel. However, the whole thing is exactly to a recipe, which is what we love. It's very easy to simple.
Easy to cost, easy to sell,
yeah,
because you can create a price point that works for you and your business.
It's perfect.
Yeah, we love that. Well, I'm going to dive on back over there.
In the chat, send messages. I'm going to have a look in the chat and we'll get back around there. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I'm liking that. I am. I just need to find where we're at. I'm back. I'm here. Still looking at on the other set there. Looks very good. We shall also take some photographs of that and we shall share them on our social medias, Keith, yes?
Yeah, absolutely we will.
Because on camera there, you don't quite see the fullness of the hoop, but I can assure you that it's definitely there. It does exist, and it does look rather fab. Also, as well, that sandy beach in the flesh as well looks beautiful. It looks, I think, a little bit darker on camera here, but working with the ivory, it is really a really nice colour mix. Elle, you're pulling that back so we can see it a bit there,
That
Keith.
was my plan. I'm going to try and see if we can get away with...
He's still working hard there. He really is. Let me see if I can move our camera as well. Let's see if I can...
Seeing if we can, I can push that all the way back.
Yep, I can just to say get that. I'm going to come across to you now.
Okay.
There we go. In the fullness, that is the hoop. Yeah, I really like that. Again, recipe driven. Don't need to overthink it. Very easy to repeat. Order the product in and cost accordingly and sell it at a price that works for you and your business. However, the impact is fantastic.
Yep.
Loving that, Keith. Loving it.
I enjoyed making it again. It's, I never get tired of making that particular design. And then with the added in of those Primadescent Starbursts, I think it really...
It goes in with our ethos here. Minimal effort, maximum impact.
Maximum effort.
No, minimum effort, maximum impact.
I was doing Deadpool. I've just been to see it recently. It's very good if you haven't seen it.
Other films are available.
Yes. Okay, so we have ran over once again.
No, not us.
So we're going to say goodbye for now. If you like this, please drop if you learned anything from it or just enjoyed it, drop a like on there and share it. Don't mind sharing it and leave a comment. Please. We appreciate it.
Yes, we want to see your designs of the Primadescents as well. We really do.
And we shall see you in 2 weeks. But bye-bye for now.
Let's hope this one works. Ciao for now.